Hello, hello. Brooke here from LegaSHE. Not Legacy, LegaSHE. Today I'm going to talk about something that I love more than anything. Commercial real estate capital stacks. Commercial real estate cap stacks. CRE cap stacks. CRE cap stacks. What is a cap stack? What is a commercial real estate capital stack? What is capitalization? What is this, Brooke? Okay. First and foremost, always ask lots of questions, always be very curious, never be embarrassed about not knowing a term. We all start somewhere. We all are interns of life. I'm an intern of life. I consistently show up like an intern of life, asking lots of questions. And I'm much older. You might be watching this, I'm sure. So, as an intern of life, cap stacks. Cap stack is how an owner of an asset, an owner of a property, an owner of something of value, how they capitalize that asset. And in commercial real estate, it's really fascinating. You can have many layers of capitalization, each with their own flavor. So you typically have heard of mortgages. Most people have heard of a mortgage or a lien. You know, I own a home, and my home has a mortgage on it, and I have the equity behind the mortgage. And so what's the mortgage? The mortgage is you're promising to pay somebody else because they gave you some money, some leverage. They gave you something of value so that you could go and buy that asset. You didn't have to put all of your money in to the asset. You still maintain ownership. You have to pay somebody off ultimately of the mortgage that they gave you, but you were able to access that without as much capital, without as much liquidity out of your own pocket. So every asset costs something, and the more that you can use leverage, debt, to buy that asset, the better it is for you in terms of returns. You don't want to use all your liquidity to make the United States and New York City in particular very well. So in the United States, there's sometimes this sense that debt is bad. If I have to borrow from someone, well, then I don't own it entirely myself, and that's bad. No. There are two ways to look at debt. One is it's bad, and this is what's taught often. Get rid of that debt as fast as possible. Own that thing outright. But there's another way to look at debt, which is positive leverage. And this is not for the faint of heart, right? Using debt, using other people's money, using capital from other sources to obtain assets for yourself, with you limiting the amount of money you're putting into the asset, is incredibly valuable. That is how people build businesses. They use OPM, other people's money. So let's get back to commercial real estate assets, commercial real estate capitalizations. So when you look at a commercial real estate asset, you will often see a first mortgage, bank, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, government-sponsored entity, a insurance company, credit union. Someone will give a mortgage to you, and they'll give you some money, and then you have to promise to pay them back, right? So that's one layer of capitalization. But in commercial real estate, over the last 15 years or so, even before that a little bit, but really the last 15 years, the commercial real estate capitalization space has blown up. And you can find many layers of capital. So not only a first mortgage, but you may have somebody who's willing to come and give you more money behind the first mortgage, meaning they're not going to get paid first. The first mortgage holder is going to get paid first. They'll give you the money behind the first mortgage. And they will take some promise of payment or some pledging of, maybe your equity ownership. They'll take something from you, right, to ensure that they're going to get repaid, but they're going to give you even more capital. So you have to put even less of your own money in. And then let's go one step further. Behind the mezzanine, that's typically called mezzanine debt, there might be preferred equity, which is someone who's not sharing in the upside equity return. They're getting a coupon instead, but they have very little collateral, very little promise. They just want a higher coupon, so they're going to come into that layer behind the mezzanine, behind the first mortgage, and then your common equity, and everything in between. Now, when I explain this, there are people who will automatically say, well, wait, hold on a second. No. You can't do that. And the answer is anything is possible in this world. We can have lots of layers of ownership and assets. When you look at commercial real estate, you're going to see an incredibly well-oiled machine of layered ownership. It's a really common, it's not even a phenomenon, it's very common in commercial real estate to see capitalizations done in this way, with these layers. And each of the layers is a different group. It's a different OPM, other people's money group, that you're receiving funds from and promising to give them some form of payment over a period of time. And each of those layers, as I said, has its own characteristics, its own flavor. So they're going to have different conditions and they're going to have different requirements. And so don't be weirded out by this. Don't be put off by this. Don't be nervous by the layers. This is one of, as I said, the most well-functioning, well-oiled ways to layer ownership, because the marketplace is incredibly transparent in terms of filed first mortgages, right? You can see all the information out there. So therefore, if the information about my mortgage is available for anyone to look at, then they can check to see, is there a mortgage on this property, and what's going to happen if something doesn't go well with that mortgage? And you can structure all these layers to determine what happens if something goes sideways with one of the other layers. So it's a very, very well-functioning market, commercial real estate finance, where you're financing of buildings. Now, I've only just scratched the surface. I'm talking about one asset. There's so many different flavors and ways to think about commercial real estate. Follow me here, Brooke at LegaSHE, if you'd like to hear more.